Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Horror 421, the podcast, with your host, your friendly small-town horror author, Charles Campbell. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the frights in this week's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Horror 421, the podcast. I'm your host, small-town horror author Charles Campbell. And today I have a very special guest. I've heard about him from afar. You know, I've kind of, through Henry Couto and his work, this guy's been on my radar for a while, and I've been wanting to get him on the show. So I appreciate you joining us today, Dan Wilder.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, it's awesome that you decided to hop on the podcast. I'm super excited to have you. And I know you've done some extensive work with our good pal Henrik. He's been on this podcast quite a few times. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to get into that. But before we get into any of that, if you could give my listening audience kind of a brief history of Dan Wilder and how you got into the horror genre and what brings you, here today up to this point in your career.
Well, as a kid, I always gravitated towards horror films. My parents always watched horror films, so being the 70s and the 80s, I watched them too because that's just the way it was.
That's right.
And I always grew up wanting to do something creative. At first, I thought it was going to be comic book art, but drawing the same characters over and over and over again just was not going to be for me. I could tell that right away. So, I went to work like everybody else. Then I got a job in the video game industry. And when I got laid off from there, I was like, yeah, it's time. It's time to start doing this filmmaking thing that I want to do. And so I didn't really know what I was doing. And some will say that I still don't know what I'm doing. But what I did was I got a position writing reviews for Famous Monsters of Filmland for their website, and but I could also sneak in interviews. So I just started interviewing people and talking to people and learning from people that were working in the industry, and then finally Henrik gave me a chance, and we rolled with it.
Yeah, well, Henrik's a good dude, man. I was introduced to him actually through a Dollar Tree purchase. I bought the Girl in the Crawl Space.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it was at the Dollar Tree. They had a big stack of movies, and one day I popped that in the freaking DVD player, and I said, wow, this is pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. And then I started looking up everything Henrik's world related to New Dynamic Pictures and, everything I could find. And I got familiar with you. I got familiar with a lot of his actors and folks that he dealt with on a regular basis. And I was happy to see that he worked with the same people quite a bit. So you guys are people that he trusts. And he opened up a door for a bunch of indie authors to get, their little short stories out on Weekly Spooky. I've got a few out there. I don't have as many as some folks, but shout out to Henrik for giving people opportunities to display their work. So,
yeah, it's and he just continues to do it, which is nice too. You mentioned Weekly Spooky, just bringing in new talent all the time. He's really good at that.
No, he sure is. He sure is. Now, you've got an impressive resume yourself. You're a screenwriter, director, producer, and I said all-around horror lover. So tell me, give me a little meat on some of this stuff. When did you get when did you get the bug to want to be a screenwriter? That's something, I'm a horror author, mm-hmm. but I don't aspire to be a screenwriter, and I'm not sure that I have the right skill set to do that. But I could put these out, but I would love to try that one day. What got you into screenwriting, and what is your process for that?
Well, I had written... my dog is going absolutely ballistic.
Oh, you're fine. I've got a beagle over here that
okay.
may start up soon.
I don't know what she's doing. She's just going berserk. I wrote a novella, and then I wanted it to become a movie, and I figured that nobody else was going to do it. So I was wrong. Somebody did want to do it, a filmmaker named Dante Tomaselli, and he had me write a screenplay version of the novella. And it never got made, it never got produced or anything. But it taught me a whole lot about writing a screenplay, you know.
Yeah.
And so from there, I got talking with Hen, and he had the potential to have a film made that didn't get made, but I wrote the screenplay for that as well. And then finally, we got one off the ground, which was well, it's called Ouija Room now. It used to be called Haunting Inside, but that was the first feature that I wrote.
Oh, nice. I actually have that in the collection. I even bought the
Nice.
T-shirt. I didn't wear the T-shirt, but I've got the T-shirt.
Oh, excellent.
with Joni on the front. So yeah, that's
Nice,
pretty
nice.
cool.
Yeah, I see your Babysitter Massacre sleigh bells. It's an awesome shirt. There's also we'll get to it, but
Yeah.
I'm involved in that as well to some
Nice.
extent. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, yeah, it's something that I may want to try with one of my own books eventually to see if I could do that. But I write horror fiction, and my books range from anywhere from 75, 100,000 words all the way down to 45,000. I kind of have longer and shorter books, but I just can't wrap my brain around anyone, even adaptations in Hollywood, how you can get these massive books and squeeze them into an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's more successful than others, but
Yeah.
it's really a good exercise, even if you just go. I would say just go for it. If you're
Yeah.
if anybody's thinking of doing it, just go for it. Why not? What do you got to lose? Well, at the end of the day, you still got a script.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If it gets made, great. If not, on to the next one. It doesn't
Well-
hurt at all to be creative. So.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I love to have creative folks on the podcast that can pick their brain on their processes. But I think you and I are close in age. You said 70s and 80s kid. I was a 70s and 80s kid as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking back upon your childhood and your teenage years, give me some of your influences in horror. You watched a lot of horror movies. I watched a lot of VHS tapes at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So tell me some of your favorites growing up, and what films kind of influenced and molded you into your future self.
I grew up in pretty much the middle of nowhere. We didn't have a lot of channels until cable rolled in.
Right.
So I got a really good, healthy diet of 60s and 70s movies that were just playing on regional TV, like drive-in theater type
Right.
of things, and it was really good, but I couldn't see at the time how this little kid from the middle of nowhere is going to do this, because there was no real outlet for that, so but then as I got older, I started to see a lot of shot-on-video productions. Evil Dead was a huge one, where you could tell how the filmmakers were making the movie. It was like watching a making of and watching the movie at the same time. You could see the hands-on nature of the effects and the let's go make a movie, spirit of the whole thing. And then I started to think, well, maybe it is possible. But then, of course, it wasn't, because life got in the way and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But then I started, from Evil Dead, I got into like, a lot of the Empire Pictures movies, like Reanimator, The Beyond. Those were huge influences on me when I was a kid. But also things like, Sid and Marty Krofft's Land of the Lost, or
Love that show when I was a child. Love
there's
that show.
it was so much imagination, and so much was done with so little. Like when you go back and watch it now, you're dealing with like 3 sets. I mean, there's like
Yeah.
nothing. There's nothing to it, but it's awesome. And then just weird regional public access oddities. I would watch. Everything just goes into this ADHD rattled brain, and then it just swirls there forever, and then it coalesces. So it's not just movies.
Right.
I guess it's comic books, it's video games, it's all these things that I've chosen to surround myself with, my whole life. And but yeah, and then as I started to get older, MTV was a big influence.
We grew up in the same path, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I'm 56, so
oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm 50. I'm 51. So
yeah. We
we're
grew
right
up in the
there.
same lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, movies like Star Wars, the rote answers that everybody gives. But I mean, it was a
Right.
huge influence on our generation. Uh, yeah, and then I was really into like once the video store thing happened, and I had access to a VCR in a video store
Yeah.
that I could walk to, and it had a fully stocked horror section and employees that didn't give a crap who they
Hell
rented
yeah.
movies to. The whole world changed. I mean, I started to see Fulci movies and Argento films and like people, like, I guess they could still do it now with streaming, but that was such a cultural shock.
Oh yeah.
I think because as I said, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you're watching this weirdo Italian film, or something like you've never seen before, and then you just crave more of it and more of it and more of it, and then you just, pretty soon you've rented everything in the damn store, and then you go to
Oh, yeah.
work at the store, so then you can get more movie.
Oh, I never got to work at a video store. I would have loved to have done that. I
Ye-
worked at a grocery store.
years I did
Oh,
that.
man. Dude.
Well over a decade, and but it was a means to an end.
Yeah.
It was film school, and I didn't realize it. It was, influencing all my aesthetic choices, and I didn't even realize it at the time. And it was exposing me to so much crazy stuff in the best possible way.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Fuck
like,
yeah.
everybody wanted to see, whatever Hollywood blockbuster was in the theater, and I'm all excited because I got my hands on like Robot Holocaust, or like some crazy like thing that no one's ever even heard of, or would probably even want to hear of. But I love it. It's
Oh, yeah.
my bread and butter. I'm right there. And then or finding the films of Ed Wood, or who I love unapologetically, and Bruno Mattei, and the works of Japanese directors like Shinya Tsukamoto, who made Tetsuo the Iron Man, which is a great film, and on and on and on. It just, without that outlet, I'm not sure that this would have ever. I mean, I would always be into monsters and things like that, and horror and stuff, but I don't think I'd be where I am now. Not that I'm, Mr. Hollywood or anything, but I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for that. So
Right. No, I get you. For sure. And you mentioned comic books. I mean, we went down a lot of the same lanes here. We had the little mom and pop video store we went to. Same scenario. They really didn't care. As long as you paid the money, you get what you wanted.
oh yeah, it didn't matter what
and-
you were renting.
Yeah.
They could care less. I'm gonna take a swig here.
Oh yeah. And my mom and dad divorced when I was a small child, so I used to go to his house on the weekends, and my stepmother was amazing. She'd take us kids to the video store, and we'd stay up literally all freaking night watching horror films.
man.
It was the best time. I'm glad we grew up in that era. I'm
Me
so
too.
glad we grew up in that era. Yeah.
Me too, and it's just influenced everything that I've done since then. And then like, even I know I'm rambling off. I'm just going.
No,
on.
go ahead. That makes a good podcast. Keep talking.
And then when I discovered things like the melding of rock and roll and horror together, like, be it Alice Cooper's work for Friday the 13th Part 6, or even like, movies like Trick or Treat, Black Roses, Rock and Roll Nightmare, all those things really influenced me. So when it came time to make a feature, which I know we'll get to, that's going to dovetail in. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's talking about the original Trick or Treat, not the later one, which I also enjoyed.
I tried to say or is clear.
Oh
as
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Instead of
You
the
got,
er.
yeah.
Yeah,
There you
that's the
go.
only difference.
I don't want to get the audience confused.
No.
But yeah, I grew up in a similar lane. I love comics as a kid. I was a humongous Spider-Man guy. Anything that had Spider-Man, if it was Marvel Team Up, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, whatever had his face on the cover. I had a shit ton of those comics. Had a lot of the good early ones too that I no longer have. Which I digress. That's a whole nother hour podcast.
Yeah.
It wasn't my choice, but anyway. But yeah, I love comics as a kid, and I loved sci-fi as a kid. Loved Land of the Lost. So we're traveling down the same roads in creativity. I read my first Stephen King novel when I was like 11 years old. So
Yeah, for sure.
oh yeah. And so
For sure.
that kind of
My son is
steered
11,
me.
and he just has discovered Stephen King, so it's
Well, I love early Stephen King. Later Stephen King, like now, but
Yeah,
that early stuff, Pet Cemetery, Carrie.
he went to camp, and somebody gave him a copy of Night Shift, and that
Oh, yeah.
he's just lost his mind over that. And then I showed him, we watched Children of the Corn the other day, just
Nice.
so he could see how these stories become movies and what gets changed, and because he's interested in doing this crazy stuff too. I don't know why, but he is. So
Well, we'll head toward the movie direction a little bit. You mentioned Ouija Room a few minutes ago, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that film quite a bit. I thought Joni and John played well off of one another, and there were comedic moments in there. Like if I remember right, she was trying to cook dinner and it was a shit show.
yeah, yeah.
But tell me how you got into screenwriting, how you got connected and started making movies, because I'm impressed. I mean, you've got a pretty good catalog, and I want you to tell us about some of those things and share that.
It was so weird because, like I said, I wrote that screenplay on I guess you'd say it was on spec, and then I don't know, like I just got talking to Hen online, and he just was like, "Do you want to write a screenplay?" And I said, "Yeah," and then it just was off to the races, and that became Ouija Room. That was the first thing that I did professionally that came out. As far as writing, I had done artwork on a documentary that my brother-in-law made called "My Name Is Jonah," which is a crazy documentary. That was my first film work.
Can you find that somewhere? Can you find it streaming?
Yeah, it's probably on YouTube. That's everywhere.
Okay, I'm writing it down. I've never heard of that.
My name is Jonah. It's about this guy that I don't know. He thinks he's maybe the Punisher I mean, he doesn't hurt anybody, but he's out there, and
Yeah.
and a lot of it had animated sequences and things like that that I was fortunate enough to be involved with, because I still try to bring the art in when I can, going back to the original inspiration. So then from Ouija Room, I directed a short film that I wrote called Mercury Screams, and that is a project that is developed further, which I can get back to, and then I worked on a film called The Last Frankenstein, which shot around here, which is available all over the place. It's on Tubi. And some of that filmed in my house, and I crewed on it, and I did some acting in it. So see, now I'm putting all these little pieces together, and more skill sets are building.
Oh, yeah.
Then I reviewed some films for a company in Italy called Necrostorm, and they knew I spoke English, and they needed somebody to speak English in one of their movies. So I started a voiceover career with them. That's been going on 10 years, and I got another project with them coming up soon, very soon. So then I got able to do that, and then it's all just a bunch of freaking luck, really. It's just talking to people, like without, like I can't even imagine where I would be without the internet. I mean, like like the ability to talk to people and learn from people, and gain access to things that you would never have the ability to gain access to. And then I knew Henrik was going to continue his Babysitter Massacre franchise, and he asked me to write and direct one of those. Having just that short film under my belt, and we shot it. Mine is called Babysitter Massacre Heavy Metal,
Heavy metal. Yeah.
It is a rock and roll horror film, very much a rock and roll horror film. And that will come out as he releases, the second one, Sleigh Bells.
Yeah,
So,
I did look at the notes you sent me, and that one said it was in post production. So I'm excited to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, please do, because you're gonna see my brain goes all over the place. So it
Oh
kind of
no,
helps.
you're good.
It helps rein me in. So I was brought on to direct that, having only directed a short, and I assembled the cast. I wrote the script. I picked the location, everything. So I was involved in that whole wonderful process. So I can't wait for
Yeah.
people to see that, because that's my feature. That'll be my feature film debut. But I've worked on a bunch of other things too. I wrote the series Popcorn Fodder that Hen did. I wrote 4 out of the 6 episodes of Boggy Creek, the Bigfoot series for Fred Olin Ray.
Wow. Yeah, I've got that series. I bought it on
Oh, nice.
the
Nice.
DVD set. Actually, I bought it on Amazon, and then he put it on his website. So
I have a
bought that
commentary,
too.
I think, on there too, on one of those too. So if people want to hear me ramble on some more, feel free. And I also produced and directed 2, wrote 3 episodes of Found Footage, the series.
I have that too. I told you I'm a big Henry fan.
Yeah, I have
bought
noticed.
a lot of
Jeez.
stuff off his.
Yeah, so by association, you'll end up with all the stuff that I worked on. And I've directed a couple of music videos for a band called Dracula Party, and I'm about to direct. I'm in the process of directing. Actually, we filmed a little bit last Sunday. A music video for another band, Ghosts in the Graveyard. So that's what I'm working on
Nice.
currently, and I think I'm sure I've missed a ton of stuff.
Dude, you've been a producer on a bunch of stuff. I'm perusing your
Yep.
your page again, and one movie I particularly enjoyed it came out not super long ago was Smart House.
Oh yeah.
And you're an associate producer on there, but I had I don't want to mispronounce her name. Iabu, is that how you say it?
Oh,
I can't remember.
Iabu?
Iabu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had her on the podcast, and
Oh,
we
nice.
talked a little. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that film, I believe, before it came out. So now that it has come out, that film really intrigued me, and I did enjoy it quite a bit. And you're an associate producer, and I don't know what that means, how much involvement you had in that particular movie, but I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. What was
Sure.
your involvement with Smart House? And, how did you get
as
involved with that?
As an associate producer, I do a lot of production work. I read the scripts. There's other opinions on the script floating around.
Right.
I will do things like just clerical stuff that's not going
Right.
to entertain anybody. Like for instance, when you submit a movie, a lot of the places want a list of musical cues. So I'll document where they are in the movie and include that in the deliverables.
Huh.
It's just like stuff like that. It's not
Gotcha.
super exciting. I wish it was like
No.
more
It's not.
glamorous.
It's good. It's good. I believe that was a John movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want
Yep.
to make sure I get that right. I think John did that one.
John
I've
O'Connell.
I've had him on the podcast too.
Nice.
Whenever people connected with Henrik come on, I call it the Kuto clique. So you're part of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're
For
part
sure.
of that.
For sure.
Part of that clique for sure. I just had Ray Mattis on. We recorded with him a couple days ago for the 3rd time. I
Nice.
really enjoyed talking to him. He has some. He had a couple crazy stories on the first podcast he came on about a Easter rabbit and a ass full of tacks. You'll have to go watch it to.
Yeah, that checks out. That seems about right.
Oh man, so I'm kind of all over the place on the podcast too. You're talking about rambling. I'm the king of rambling. I want to go back to comic books for a second, since I was my comic love was very specific. I mean, I love Spider-Man comics and anyone associated with Spider-Man. But tell me what sort of comics you enjoyed as a kid, and I believe you said you kind of worked in the comic book industry a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious about that.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I really wasn't into superhero comics. I would watch, you know, reruns of Adventures of Superman or Super
Right.
Friends or the Adam West Batman show. These are all not really great examples of serious comic book material, but uh, or the Marvel the what are they? I can't remember the off the top of my head right now. The company that did them, they were Marvel cartoons, but they were just adapted straight
Oh
up
yeah,
from Jack Kirby's
yeah.
art, and they had limited movement.
Yep, yep. I
Yeah,
know what you're talking
I
about.
loved
Yeah.
them. They were cheap, and I loved them. And then I would collect, of course, Star Wars comics. I was really
Right.
big into Conan, a lot of the fantasy stuff, Call, Conan, Red Sonja,
Hmm.
and then and that led me to get really into pulp writing, you know, pulp writers as well. And then over time, I did get into to superhero comics, like especially the X-Men is very personal to me. My kids are all named after X-Men, so
Oh, really?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But then, so I really wanted to be in comics, and then like the whole image revolution happened, and all those superstar artists, and you know, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So you know, and I went to school for it for a little bit, and found out that I really didn't want to do it. And later on in life, a guy that created a comic book called Razor wanted to do. I wrote a script for this guy. He wanted to turn one of his comic books into a movie, and it never happened. That you're going to hear that one a lot, and it never happened. So he's like, "Hey, do you want to write some comic books?" And I was like, "Yep." And I ended up writing a whole bunch of series for his company, Occult Press. I wrote, God, there's so many of them that I wrote for him. I wrote the Dead Boys, but that became something that was called something different. Everything goes through a title change too.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
this industry, that's all it is. You come up with a great title, and then somebody's like, "Nope, it's this title."
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
The haunting inside becomes Ouija room. Yeah, got it.
yeah. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, it doesn't. I guess it really doesn't matter as long as it gets out there. So I ended up writing a bunch of books for him. They're like erotic horror comics. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
things that we all enjoy. I'm sure to some extent. Um, but they were fun, and it was a big learning experience. And some of them are still coming out, like ones I wrote
nice.
like a year or two ago. He staggers them, so there's still more coming out. But
Well, that's
I've been
good.
done with those projects for quite a while. But I'd be open to writing more comics easily.
Yeah, that's good. I'd never. Ironically enough, as much as I love Stephen King and horror novels and horror movies, I never really got into the horror comic thing, and that's something that should have been right up my alley. But I never really collected those.
And
Yeah,
my favorites were always the Marvel ones too, because
yeah, I do remember the covers
oh, they're
from some of
great.
those.
And
Yeah,
the characters were great. I mean, like Son of Satan. Like, good luck getting that one out there now. And you know what I mean? Just like it was just, oh, The Exorcist is hot. Let's do an issue that's like The Exorcist, and you read it, and it's just, this is great.
yeah,
It's exactly what my mind needed at that time, and still needs.
yeah. I don't know why I never. I don't know, man. When I was like a little boy, and the first time I saw Spider-Man on a book, it blew my mind,
Hmm.
and that's all I could think about. All the way up through adulthood, I collected Spider-Man comics till I was like 24, and I was obsessed with them.
Spider-Man's horror adjacent, though. I mean, look at some of his villains, Morbius and
Yeah,
the
true.
Lizard, and even he's got that creepy look to an extent. I mean, when Ditko was doing them, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, yeah, and then when Venom first came out, I was kind of on the fence. I wasn't sure if I really dug Venom, but he kind of grew on me over the years.
Yeah, I mean,
But
now he's a pop culture thing, and
oh yeah, for
when
sure.
he first came out, I know it's just like you said. You can remember when it first came out. You're like, oh, it's Spider-Man with teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, the Secret Wars, I loved all that shit.
Yeah, that is good stuff.
Loved all that stuff, and it was a getaway, man. It was an escape. So that was an awesome time, like I said. So we've got a lot of horror's kind of in the mainstream, like big cinema. It's having a little bit of resurgence as of late. I just saw the movie Weapons, saw it twice because I freaking loved it. I don't know if you go to the movies a lot now to see the new releases or anything, but over the last few years, are there any movies that kind of stick out in your head that you've really enjoyed and kind of left you scratching your head?
Are you talking about Hollywood films or?
Well, not necessarily. Anything that's come out over the last 5 years that
Sure.
may have really
Sure.
grabbed your attention and said, "Wow, that's some pretty good shit."
Late Night with the Devil
Oh, dude.
was one of my all-time favorites of the past.
I got the poster over here. You can't see it. It's hanging on the wall.
It was one of the it's everything that I try to do with the found footage stuff that I do. It's very era specific. It involves entertainment industry to some extent, occultism and whatever else. I'm not going to ruin that movie for anybody that hasn't seen it, but it gets very crazy and very clever.
Oh yeah.
That was a great movie. I really like Mandy. Was another one I really loved.
Oh, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. And also, he was excellent in Color Out of Space, the Lovecraft adaptation by Richard Stanley, who did Hardware and what was the other? Dust Devil. And he was going to do Island of Dr. Moreau, but he didn't.
I hate to admit this. I haven't seen that yet. It's on my DVD shelf, and I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have. Well, hey,
I got a Blu-ray sitting over here, and I haven't. It's not even opened.
Isn't that the best though? Because someday you'll just out of the blue pop it in, and you'll be like, "Hey, this was great."
Why did I watch it 5 years ago?
They keep. What else? Black Circle was a movie that I saw that I really liked. Of course, the minute I'm off from here, it's all going to be like, hey, what is those are the ones that stick out, just especially Late Night with the Devil. I was so impressed by that film.
Yeah, that was my favorite movie of 2024. Me and my buddy went and saw it opening weekend, and I bought the freaking box thing from the website. Got you can't see this. I'm going to grab this real quick.
Sure.
Check this out. I got the TV guide.
Oh, that's
Put
awesome.
Put it in a frame. It's an actual TV guide. It's not like super big or anything, but it has
awesome.
it has a little story in it. It's got the freaking ads that they had in the show.
Of course. and what a thing TV Guide was. Just going through that as a kid, circling all the movies you wanted to watch, trying to plan your whole week, staying up late. It's something that really doesn't happen anymore. I try to explain it to my kids, and they're just like, "What the hell are you talking about? Just throw it on streaming, old man." But they don't get it. The anticipation.
Well, last year, the year before, I bought a VCR from Facebook Marketplace from an old lady because I wanted to convert some old videotapes, home movies, onto digital, and so I bought a VCR. This thing was, her husband he passed away. He was the only person that watched it. She gave it to me in an original box with the original remote, the original manual, and it was in pristine condition. So, first thing I did after I transferred all those tapes, I went to the Salvation Army and I bought a shit ton of VHS tapes for 50 cents a piece.
yeah, for sure. I still pick up stuff just to have it. Like I have like a VHS copy of Star Crash, which is one of my favorite movies. I have a VHS of Yor the Hunter from the Future. Just all the crazy stuff that I love. If I see them on VHS, I just buy them. I mean, I have no intention of ever watching them, but I buy them.
Yeah, well, I popped a few things into that VCR. My favorite of the Friday the 13th series was Part 2 because I have a thing for Amy Steele, favorite final girl of all time. So
nice.
I got to meet her in 2024. Super nice. Wish I would have stayed and talked to her longer because no one was at her table, but I didn't want to be the creepy old guy hanging out by her
Yeah.
table, even though she's older than me.
Yeah, I know it's a fine line between fan and fanatic, you know?
Exactly, exactly. Oh, geez. So, if you had your druthers and you had an unlimited budget, and you could, cast whoever you wanted and put a movie together the way you wanted to put it together, what would Dan Wilder want to see on the big screen for millions of people to see? What is your pie in the sky? What would be your not Mount Rushmore, that's the wrong thing, but what would be your aspirations to do and do it big and bold?
I think that if I had the chance to have a giant budget, I would finally do that adaptation of my novella. It's called The House of 13 Doors. And it is a gothic music video mind fuck. Can I say that on here? Mind fuck. Of a ride that I think would just blow people away. I think the people that like, the weirder side of films would really be into it, and I think that people that didn't like the weirder side of films would hate it, and that would be great too, because then it would be lots of really funny reviews to read of people losing their minds. Oh, you suck! But I don't give a crap. I don't give a shit what people say. I've never. I could care less. I make things, and I hope people love them, and I hope they enjoy them. And if they don't, well, I hope they get some laughs out of them. There you go.
Dude, my favorite review of all time for one of my books. I have a trilogy, and it wasn't meant to be a trilogy, so the first book is standalone. The trilogy came after enough people asked me to follow up, but it's called Mrs. Field's Journal, and I got this review from a lady. And I actually printed it. I was going to print it and actually frame it because I loved it so much. 1 star. I was really enjoying this book until I found out it was about the devil. How could you do this?
They better stay away from my work.
and then I was like, it wasn't about the devil. It's a demon. You don't. What's wrong with you?
Right. Didn't read it. Yeah, and I don't generally read my reviews. But I did when I wrote the book, and somebody was mad that the book didn't actually contain 13 doors in the narrative somehow. I'm like, it's a metaphor. I don't know. just read the stupid book. I don't freaking know.
Exactly.
It's 99 cents. I'm like, if you don't like it, I'll give you your damn money back.
It's $1. Come on, lady.
I know.
Or
But
person.
people love to complain, and I mean, like, I review movies. That's another thing that I do. I review movies for a website called Horror Fuel. And, yeah, I mean, everybody's got an opinion. What's it worth? Not much. As long as I just want to entertain people. That's it.
Yeah, I had that
I'm
in my
not trying
notes.
to do anything too crazy other than that. Well, I am, because my stuff is nuts. But just entertain people, like-minded people.
Well, you're kind of segueing into something I was going to bring up next. Your horror reviews with, with Horror Fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we can find online?
Yep.
That okay?
All
okay.
online. It's just
Okay.
online. Yeah, it's just horrorfuel.com.
And what sort of horror films do you review? Do you review the latest releases, like the things that just come out, or are they more niche?
Boutique label stuff.
Gotcha. Okay,
Severin, Blue Underground, Intervision, which is part of Severin. Just anybody who'll send me stuff, really. I don't do a lot of newer stuff because I don't. It's not really what I'm interested in.
Right.
And I don't. I do this just for the love of doing it. So I want to review things that I actually know that I'm probably gonna at least have a chance of liking.
Right.
Oh
yeah. Well, most of they've had a little tiny resurgence of decent big budget horror films, but most of the horror films now are garbage.
Yeah,
I hate to put it that way, but
and I'm of two minds on that too. Like, are they crappy kiddie movies for the most part? Yep. Would I make one? Probably.
yeah.
I mean, it would be recut massively by the studio. I can guarantee it.
Oh, for sure. But there've been a couple of really clever ones, man. And if you haven't seen Weapons yet, I
Well,
know I've mentioned it twice already, and I've saw it twice. The story structure, and I'm not going to give anything away because it's still brand new, but the story structure blew my mind, and the where it went was so satisfying. I was like, wow, wow. And this Egg, what's this new director's name? I don't want to mention his name if I mispronounce it, but he's the same guy who wrote and directed Barbarian.
A movie that doesn't have a physical release, oddly enough.
Oh, really? Barbarian does not?
Nope.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never picked up the. Yeah. Well, no, I did not know that. I never went looking for the DVD though, or Blu-ray, or whatever it is now.
I just know because of the. I like to sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about. But
Oh, no,
I just
yeah.
know because of the job.
Yeah. Well, man, I hope Weapons has a physical release because I would definitely pick that up for sure.
I have no idea why Barbarian doesn't, but as far as I know, I mean, somebody out there will be like, "Oh, it does. You're an idiot." Well, whatever. All right.
Well,
Don't even get going out there. Just I don't know everything.
You can find
on a couch.
Well, there's a couple of bootleg VHS websites that make that shit.
Absolutely.
On videotape.
Some of that stuff is beautiful, though.
It is. I've got some from Mosh Pit Media.
The repro work and stuff is just exquisite. It's amazing.
Yep. I got a copy of Late Night of the Devil on VHS from that company. Because
nice.
It didn't come in my box set. They had another box set that had a VHS, but I didn't get that one. So I ordered one off of this Mosh Pit Media, and it was pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah. Hey, why not? You know, and that's another thing. It's just it's a good time to be a collector or into stuff. It's just you have such access to things now.
Yep. Oh, geez. Well, Dan, it has been amazing talking to you. I'm going to, and I know I tend to ramble and overtalk and that kind of thing, but is there anything you want to put out there and promote? Anything you want people to go and take a look at? You know, I want to give you some time to promote whatever you have out there and, share with the world where we can find you.
All right.
And I'll put links below as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I would say that if you want to see something that's the truest of what goes on in my head, you should watch Found Footage, the series. The final episode is called Mercury Screams. It's an extension of my short film that I mentioned earlier. It's a half-hour version of it, and it involves a strange late-night broadcast on a regional channel in the 80s. And my brother-in-law worked on it with me. His name is JB Sapienza, and we really went off the deep end on that one. I'd recommend that to anybody that likes things like Late Night with the Devil. And it's like 25 minutes. You're in, you're out. If you hate it, I don't know, go watch one of the other episodes. I worked on those too. And then coming out soon is that music video for Ghosts in the Graveyard. I'm really excited about that. That's shaping up to be really good. And it has a reunion of some of the actresses that I worked with, who some of them I work with quite a bit, but that were in Babysitter Massacre, Heavy Metal. The upcoming film, which you should also keep your eyes open for, but that ball's in somebody else's court, so he's going to have to hit that one out there when he's ready.
All right, Mr. Kuto, you're on deck.
I wasn't going to name any names.
Yeah, I will. It'll be all right. Well, one other thing I wanted to ask. You mentioned House of 13 Doors, your novella. Is that available anywhere?
Oh yeah, what a shitty self promoter I am. Yeah, that's on Amazon Kindle.
Okay,
you can
cool.
It's right on there, 99 cents. You'll know it when you see the cover. It's got a rabbit lady, so you can't go wrong there.
Well, I wrote it down. I'm gonna definitely do that. I'm having Jeff Strand back on the show very soon.
And if you do get it and check it out, and you want to see the different ways that I've messed around with putting that into screenplay format, I would be more than happy to send you the screenplays for that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Then you can see a little bit more granular how it goes from being a book to a
because I think that's something I want to attempt at least once in my life.
Just do it. Don't even think it, man. And if you write a sentence a day, a paragraph a day, a line of dialogue a day, you're that much closer to getting that thing done. And once you get it done, you're just going to be like, shit, I can do. What was I waiting? I can do this.
Okay.
Anybody can. Just
All right.
as long as they have a vision and they work on it. It's just
Well,
like
I'll take your word for it, man. I'm going to adapt one of my 16 books, I think.
this interview should give your listeners hope. If I can do it, absolutely anyone can do it. So,
Well, thank you, sir. I'm definitely going to pick up House of 13 Doors. I want to check that out. Very soon we're going to have Jeff Strand on the show and with his latest book, Your Body Will Never Be Found. I purchased the Kindle version. I'm going to go purchase the paperback. But I'm having him on the show, so I want to go ahead and read this before he comes on. But that, yeah.
it's threatening. I
yeah.
I feel threatened by that book cover.
Well, if you've never read Jeff Strand, you might like his work. He's out there a little bit. But my favorite book, and I haven't read his whole library. He's written a lot more books than I have. But he wrote a book called Blister. You might want to check out. It's pretty.
Nice.
It's pretty amazing. Well, thank you for being on Horror 421, the podcast, Dan. I was super excited to have you. I'm glad you carved out some time to sit here. I've heard your name so many times through the Kuto connection, so I'm glad to finally talk to you.
Well, I'm glad I could come on. It's a good time.
Well, I do appreciate it. And my name is Charles Campbell. I'm a small-town horror author. I'm going to show this one more time because I didn't show it enough during the podcast, but this is my latest release, 3 Knocks. And you can pick it up at valleyboypublications.com. All the links will be there. And you can follow me, on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And if you're, into the horror business in any kind of way and want to come on the show and chop it up, just reach out to me. You can direct message me. But anyway, that'll close out this week's episode of Horror 421, the podcast. And I'm going to let Dan have the final goodbye.
All right, everybody take it easy. Just create new horror. I want to see some new horror that isn't created by me. So somebody create more and send it my way.
Nice. Peace.